Hello, and welcome to Round Glass. My name is Lisa Kring. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a longtime practitioner and teacher of Vipassana Buddhism. So welcome to this live stream meditation time together. I just love this whole experience of live streaming in real time. Welcome, everyone. And before we move into our topic and the meditation that I'd love to offer right now, which is really healing anxiety, which I think for all of us is so relevant, especially in these uncertain times. Just leading with this question that you've probably already seen in the prompt and just tuning into it for yourself. Is there a lot that feels like for you in your life that feels out of control? Do you often feel out of control in life? And I just love to hear from all of you in the chat. Let's just together resonate with this. And I'm so happy to, someone says they feel that their thoughts can get out of control. This is really so profound what you're sharing. Also, someone says they worry that decisions they make, even though it's out of their control, the decisions that they make. So true. Oh my goodness, someone puts nervous, mindless eating. And someone said my diet. Wow, this is really such vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. And while I think all of us probably resonate and we can all normalize around how vulnerable we are, that there's so much that truly is out of our control. So I'd just like to say a few words before we move into the meditation that I'd love to offer that's in the spirit of healing anxiety. So I'll just say a few words in support of the practice before we begin. So it does often feel like for all of us, when we really stop and can be honest with ourselves, in reality, in truth, there is so much in our lives that we cannot control. It's just part of the human condition when we're honest with ourselves. External conditions are constantly hitting us like waves in a changing ocean. We never know what's going to come next. Anything could happen anytime, and that's just a reality for us all. In this spirit, life can feel often very overwhelming and unpredictable. But whenever we step in and try to control what cannot be controlled, what can happen, and you can see if this is true for you, it's true in my experience, we can get flooded and overwhelmed with anxiety. See if that, as I say that, see if that resonates for you. Anxiety can often be defined clinically as the hypothetical dread of anything that could go wrong in a future that never quite arrives. Isn't that how it feels a lot with anxiety? We're kind of spinning. We're kind of caught in a wave, and we don't really know how to get out of it. That's how anxiety can feel. There is an expression that we use in the mindfulness community around how to heal anxiety, and it's that we cannot control the waves of life, but we can learn how to surf. How does that sound? Healing anxiety is really about becoming clear. What can we control? Finding that internal locus of control, and that becomes our surfing lessons, if you like to say. And just for a moment, for yourself, what do you think we actually do have control of? And I'd love to hear your answers at the end, but in my experience, and often from a mindfulness perspective or a Buddhist perspective, if we can kind of be honest, the only thing we really have control over is our responses and our reactions to life's waves, how we relate, how we respond, our actions. This is really where we can start to take our power back. Anxiety is a part of life, and once it arises, which it will, because it's part of the human condition, and this is what I'd like to offer in this meditation, it can become an opportunity, actually. It can become an opportunity to return to a wiser locus of control to kind of realize where we're holding on, to see what it feels like to let go and join the stream of life as it really is. And start to feel we start to feel almost like there's some smoother waters internally. Anxiety is really uncomfortable and unpleasant when it arises. So that's what makes it a little bit tricky to ride that wave. But once it is present, by giving it mindful space in the body, actually allowing it to be there, very counterintuitive, what happens is you notice is that wave of anxiety will naturally pass if we don't interfere, allowing us to gain insight and wisdom along the way. This is what it feels like to surf and to heal our anxiety. So sit back now. I'd love to invite you to settle into a posture that just feels very, very grounded. You know, it's nice to feel into the body, that feeling in the moment, in the present moment, that grounded, steady, anchored experience in the body. And I'm going to offer a practice called RAIN. It's in 4 parts, and it's really how we learn to surf and heal anxiety through these very simple steps. So just take a few minutes now and settle in. Really discover for yourself a posture, whether you're sitting in a chair or on a couch, or if you feel comfortable on the floor, you can do that. But as I'm doing, but please, you don't have to imitate what I'm doing if it's not right for your body. That will cause you some anxiety, right? So please anchor the body in a way that feels as stable, as grounded, as supported as possible for you right now, wherever you are. And I invite you to discover that for yourself physically. Yeah. So settle in, and I'd like to invite you to just drop down into the body, into that posture. Just begin to feel connection into this body, and you can close your eyes if you like. And we'll just take the first 5 minutes or so just to become a bit more mindfully embodied, which gives us the foundation for our surfing of the waves of anxiety. It provides that kind of surfboard, if you like. So take a moment, close your eyes, and lean back a bit and just drop down into the soft, warm body. Feel into the truth of the body and let it be an experience that is very wholesome. Feel into and tune into what feels wholesome and alive in the body for you right now. No matter how simple, you can just feel and actually connect to, melt into the warmth of the body right now. Perhaps you do feel warm and supported wherever you are, and feel into that and melt into the experience of the body just as it is right now. Just let go, if you can, into the weight of the body as it meets and connects to and is literally held by the earth. Can you feel that right now? It's so beautiful to be practicing together in real time. And for all of us, no matter where we are, we're all resting. All our bodies are resting on the earth together in this same moment right now. And see if that can bring a sense of calm, a sense of stability that's very real in the present moment. We can often say that the only sanity we can ever know is in the present moment, actually being embodied, feeling into the truth of our physical experience. So take some time to settle into that and let it bring some calm. We're all in need of calm, a little bit of sanity in this life that is so unpredictable, and allow yourself to land into the body as it rests on the earth. You can feel how gravity embraces the body and literally holds the body. So the body right now is held by gravity and supported by the earth. And what's so beautiful, I'll say it again, that is true for all of us right now. Just rest for a moment, and in support of that feeling of calm and grounding, if you like, you can just notice the breath in the body. Take a nice deep breath in, really breathing in deeply, and let that be an experience of becoming more embodied, letting the breath do all of the work for you. It's beautiful. The breath and the body are already here for you to connect to. You don't have to work at this. So bring in the natural rhythm of flow of the breath as it feels, and rest in the gentle rhythm. Let the breath gently rock and bathe the body as it rests on the earth. And before we move into the healing anxiety practice, just rest for a moment and notice for yourself in your own direct experience. Can being anchored and physically present in the moment, does it restore a kind of sense of calm and clarity to any degree? We can only find our footing in the present moment. It exists nowhere else. So from this foundation, to any degree that we have taken some time to establish present moment, mindful, embodied presence, we'll gently move into the healing anxiety practice, and for this to be a real experience in real time, I will be gently inviting you now to consider a situation in your life, and on a scale between 1 and 10, the 10 being the most extreme, about a 4 on this scale if you can, just so you can try this on. Consider a situation in your life where you do feel a bit out of control. It can be in your personal life, of course, or your professional life. It can be a global issue, universal to us all. And just see what feels best for you to begin to try on and feel into what it's like to begin to ride some waves of anxiety as an experience, an opportunity actually to heal, to gain wisdom. So bring in this situation and bring it to life in your own mind's eye, just all that involves that situation. Bring it into focus so that you can feel into the truth of it just enough, so that you can feel into any little bubbles of anxiety that start to arise in the body, the heart, and the mind in this situation. So part of the human condition. And I'll just say, with healing anxiety, there's nothing wrong with anxiety. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. So see if you can begin in this practice now to just notice how the anxiety feels and let it remain in the body as you kind of keep this situation alive in your mind's eye. Where do you feel the anxiety? Become a little bit curious and turn towards it in the body. Where do you feel it in the body? Is it in the chest? Oftentimes anxiety we can feel that restlessness or in the chest, or maybe it's in the belly, or you can just let it be where it is. And I'm going to walk us through these 4 simple steps as we explore the experience of anxiety. And the first step is simply to recognize, yes, in this situation where I don't have a lot of control, of course there's going to be some anxiety there. That comes with the territory. And see if you can just recognize, yes, this is what the anxiety feels like. Where do you feel it most in the body? It may be, as I was saying, it may be uncomfortable. It may be unpleasant. It may be unwanted. But you're in good company right now. We can all explore this together in good company. So just see what it's like to recognize, yes, of course, this is going to bring up some anxiety. Because it's hard, we're so vulnerable. I am vulnerable in this situation, so just letting it in a bit and recognizing it. And notice in this first step just how it feels to do this. How does that feel? The next step is to allow the anxiety to be there. This is where we really turn towards the wave of the experience. It feels counterintuitive. Anxiety tends to make us want to run. It wants to make us shut down. It really has a lot of energy in it if you tap into it. But see if you can just, in this very calm way, turn towards it. And while, of course, there is going to be some resistance to the experience, some fear, some reactivity, it's normal. Play with this and keep it very light. But notice what it feels like to just say yes, allowing it to remain in the body. You do not have to get too caught up with the situation in your mind. Just track it and feel it as a physical experience in the body for now. And give it all the space it needs and just say yes. Energetically, just say yes. Open your arms to it. Just the experience in the body. Often anxiety is like a wild horse. And when you pen a wild horse in, it just gets more and more anxious. What a wild horse needs is a larger pen in which to be. The more space you give that wild experience in the body, you can notice how perhaps that wild horse of anxiety begins to naturally calm down by allowing and giving it as much space as it needs. So energetically allow and make space in the body and really track as best as you can, what is that like? Does the anxiety increase or does it calm down a bit? It's normal for it to increase at times, but stay with it. Just stay with it. Stay with the. We're learning to track. When we surf a wave of anxiety and heal it, we're simply tracking the direct experience of that in the body. This is practice that is neck down, or we often say ground up. When you feel ready and there's no rushing through this, you can really take your time, all the time that you need, all the time that you need. When you do feel ready, you can gently, if you feel like it, move into the next step, and that is to simply investigate the experience, this situation a bit, allowing the anxiety in the body to be there, to feel it, to notice any changes in that wave, to just ride it out, just riding the experience of the anxiety. And as you do, you can begin, as you stay in touch with this situation that you do not have control over to some degree, if you can ask and inquire and explore, does it help if I try to control it? What's it like for me right now to accept that there's not much I can do about that? I cannot predict the future. I really can't. And what's it like to just drop down into the body and just stay present with what's real right now, what you can know to be true in the moment? Simply riding the anxiety as it feels in the body, perhaps that wave just starts to calm down. And as it does, you can investigate for yourself, how can I best relate and respond to this situation in life? Returning to that locus of control of how we can best and most skillfully respond. How can we relate to this experience that is out of our control with more wisdom and more skill? Can we get more support? Can we accept our vulnerability? So just allow for some time, allow for that to sink in a bit as you not investigating as an analytical process, but just really dropping down into the heart with some wisdom and exploring the truth, the reality of this situation, allowing yourself to return to what you can control and finding some comfort, some empowerment there, because that is always within your control. And see if it does restore some balance, some inner balance in the body. And last, if you like, the last step is to nurture yourself. This is such an important step with anxiety. It truly allows us to become healed in the truth of our vulnerability in life as human beings. This is where you can quite literally take care of yourself, given the reality of the human condition, accepting it as best as you can, really tuning into how you can best respond, and taking a moment perhaps to, even wherever you feel the anxiety in the body, you can really allow yourself to nurture yourself. Perhaps you feel it in the chest. I invite you to put your hands directly on that part of the body as you would to a young child or a frightened pet, and to literally hold that part of the body, and not with an agenda to make it go away, but just because you care. And feel, if you're choosing to do this, feel the warmth of your hands on your body and just hold yourself. You can even offer some words, some kind, nurturing, supportive words. I've got you. I'm right here with you. I know it's unpredictable, but I'll stay right with you, and we'll walk through this together. I'll be right here with you. So offering words and gestures, and see what it's like to just hold yourself in a very tender and compassionate way. This is the truth of our lives. And we need to be caring and compassionate. So having walked through these steps, just notice for yourself, still perhaps a bit holding in your mind's eye that situation, and how does it feel different? Has there been a shift into a more realistic internal locus of control that gives you a sense of sanity, more balance? And just notice for yourself, this last minute of this meditation time, what did you notice about that practice? Was any of this for you meaningful, healing, and supportive? Did you gain some insights? Were you able to let go as an act of wisdom and actually join with the river of life? And in doing so, flowing and surfing with the uncertainty in the present moment, knowing that at every moment you can choose how to best nurture and support yourself through the experience. So we're coming to the end of this practice, and for just a few seconds you can breathe and feel the breath and the earth, and also just resting again in connection with the earth, feeling that stability, letting go of that situation that you brought to mind, just resting on the earth. And I'll just ring the bowl to end this practice period. And I invite you to open your eyes, and we'll take the last few minutes of our time together to just share. And I'd love to know if there's any questions that you may have. It's so nice to spend some time supporting each other and sharing each other's wisdoms and vulnerabilities. This is how we learn. So some people did share the control that they did have. And what's so great to see is someone said, in my decisions, yes. How you decide is all up to you. You can also decide, someone says, prioritizing what is important. Yes, you can prioritize. It's so beautiful to really take some time to restore that locus of control. Other people shared, I loved it said that we can learn how to surf. I think that we all need surfing lessons in this life of this kind. And it really feels like we're going to drown if we don't learn. And that's really, in some ways, what brings us into such states of anxiety. We've never really learned how to surf yet, and we're just lost in the waves. So I hope that this has been very helpful for you. I did want to share also just personally that before I learned to meditate and practice, before I found this spiritual path, I was just riddled, overwhelmed with anxiety. I had gastrointestinal problems. I was constantly in a state of restlessness and worry. I couldn't just be. And I'm so happy to let you know and to share with you that through this practice, that has been healed for me. Yes, anxiety still arises because I'm still vulnerable as part of the human condition. But I immediately know how, as I showed you, to surf into that experience mindfully. And in doing so, I restore balance and find my way, no matter what is arising. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining me. And remember, you can meditate with Round Glass live every single day. Join us tomorrow or anytime. Isn't that exciting? And you can check us out on round.glass and on our app. And I'll always be back every Wednesday for another live session. We'll be really moving through different emotions. So until I see you again, may you be well, and may you learn how to surf in this life, and may you feel more sane, more balanced, and more peaceful along the way. Thank you so much.